Hi, this is Professor Wolber from appinventor.org and USF. I'm going to show you how to build apps with App Inventor 2, and I'm going to show you how to build a paint pot app where you can kind of take a picture with your camera and then draw funny lines and circles on it. It's a fun app, and it's also, it'll teach you a lot about programming. Okay, so go to ai2.appinventor.mit.edu, and this is the new App Inventor 2. Go to Project, click New, and then I'm going to name my project Paint Pot. All right, so this is going to open up the App Inventor Designer where you kind of build your user interface. Now, the first thing I typically do is once I get App Inventor up, I open up my App Inventor 2 companion. So on my phone, which is sitting on my desk here, and I'm projecting onto the screen, I've got MIT App Inventor 2 companion. And what you want to do is get that from the Google Play Store. It's a free, easy install, and once you do that, you can test your apps in a really nice way. So I'm going to, right now, click on Scan QR Code on my phone. Okay, then I'm going to come up and in the App Inventor, I'm going to choose Connect and AI Companion, and I'm going to scan that QR code that comes up. And what's going to happen is it's going to show me the app that I'm building right now. And you'll notice my app's not very interesting. It just shows screen 1 at the top. That's the title, right? And that's all there is. But anything I do now, it's going to show up on my phone. Okay, so we're going to build a drawing app. So go to Drawing and Animation and pull out a canvas component. Drag it out. Canvas component's like a panel on your screen. You can have many of them, but what you can do inside them is put sprites that are animated, and then you can also allow the user to draw inside of canvases. All right, so I've got my canvas. Almost always you want to set its width to fill parent, and that just means to fill the whole screen. All right, then I'm going to set its height to like 300 pixels. That'll leave us some room also for some buttons that we're going to use to let people change color and do that sort of thing. So I've got a canvas. I'm going to change its background image. I'm going to upload a file. You can upload any file you want. I'm going to upload a picture of Hal Abelson, who's the App Inventor creator, of his cat. This cat's become famous because it's been used in a bunch of these App Inventor tutorials. So I'm going to open up this little kitty, and he's going to show up on my screen. All right, so now I've got a drawing canvas where I'm going to draw, and we're going to be able to draw pictures on this Hal Abelson cat. And notice it shows up on my phone as well. Okay, so I've got my canvas set up. Next, I'm going to add some buttons. All right, first thing we want is a row of buttons so we can, kind of change the color. So I'm going to grab a horizontal arrangement. And this just allows me to create a horizontal row of objects. And then I'm going to go to user interface and just throw some buttons in there. Okay, there's one. It's a little tricky to get them in there, but make sure you get it so it shows up within the horizontal arrangement. And then finally I got my third button. So I've got 3 buttons. All right. With buttons, you've got a couple things you want to do. One is you want to change the text. So I'm going to change button 1's text to red. So this will be the button to change the drawing color to red. All right. I'm also going to rename button 1, and I'm going to call it red button. The important thing about kind of renaming your components, the user is not going to see this, right? But when you go to actually write your code in the blocks editor, you're going to be able to distinguish between the different components you have. Okay, so I've got red button. Last thing I'll do to it is change the color of it, and I'm going to go to background color for the button and choose red. Okay, so I've got this button all set up, and I'm not going to do this on the screencast here, but change these last 2 buttons to blue and green. Okay, make sure you change the names and change their color. All right, we'll come back and okay, so I've added the other buttons, and notice I've renamed them up here as well. All right, next thing I'm going to do is go to Screen, and I want to actually align everything center. Okay, because I want my buttons to show up more in the center of the screen. So now I have this first row of buttons, which are going to allow me to change color. I want one more because we're going to do some other functions. So I'm going to add another horizontal arrangement right below here. And this one's actually going to have 4 buttons. So I'm going to grab some buttons and put them directly into my second horizontal arrangement. Okay, and so the 4th one, see if I can fit it in there. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, so I'm going to have one button which is going to say take picture. Okay, so this will allow us to change the background picture. The second button will allow me to kind of clear the interface. Okay, it won't clear the background color, but it will clear whatever's been drawn. And then third, I'm going to have a big button and a small button. These are going to allow us to change the size of the circles that get drawn. All right, so I've got this row of buttons that allow us to do a bunch of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and rename them. I'm going to rename them kind of like I did with the color buttons, like take picture button, clear button, big button, and small button. So you should go ahead and do that. When I come back, we're going to go ahead and start building the behavior of the app. All right, so I renamed the buttons in my second horizontal arrangement. And last thing I want to do before we go to the blocks editor is I want to add a camera component. So go to media and just grab this camera out. It's a non-visible component. So you drag it into the UI, but notice it shows up kind of below. Okay, and it does not show up in the actual UI that the user sees. Okay, we're going to need this to take pictures. So that's why we need to add it to our interface. All right, so I've got the design all set up. Next thing I'm going to do is show you the behavior. We're going to click on the blocks and actually show you how to make it so the user can draw.